morning. Traidcraft and fair trade generally has been my passion since I became involved when I was living on Tyneside in the early 1980s. And there may be a few people here who will remember that when my family and I worshipped here from 1986 to 1991, I set up the Traidcraft stall then. You know, for me, fair trade is just an obvious and I believe Christ-like way of responding to poverty. Now these that you can see up there are just some of the many facts that I could have pulled out to illustrate poverty in our world. Just looking at the bottom one, if you just look at yourself and the person to one side of you and the person to the other side of you, and just think, actually, if you take it across the world, only one of us would have access to a toilet. That's quite shocking, isn't it? The photos that you can see there were taken in a slum area in Kisumu, which is in the west of Kenya, somewhere I visited quite a lot because when I was teaching at Newark Community School, through the British Council, I set up a link with a poor rural school just outside Kisumu. These photos were taken on one of my trips, and for me they gave me a shocking and personal insight into poverty. The lady you can see outside the house, which was part of the slum area that we visited, she's a grandmother. All 6 of her sons and daughters-in-law have died of AIDS, and she's left bringing up 27 grandchildren in that house. There's nothing inside it worth talking of. The lady in the red t-shirt next to her is a lady called Caroline, who runs a daycare centre and supports women like this grandmother. And any profit that I make on the stall goes out to support this daycare centre. Recently we've set up what we call square metre gardening to help the children learn how to grow their own vegetables. The picture next to it, one of the local clergymen took me to see. And these people that you can just about see on the picture, they're called sand diggers. And they work all day taking sand out of the river, up the riverbank and into a truck at the top. For that they're paid 100 Kenyan shillings a day. Now the exchange rates vary, but that's about £1. And when I was there it was 40 degrees. And you know, it seems to me no one should have to live in such shocking poverty as the pictures that we see there. Well, there are 3 possible responses to that. We can ignore it. We can give to charities that run development projects, and I think that's very important. But we can also help people to help themselves. And that's why I'm so passionate about Traidcraft, because I believe it's giving people a hand up rather than a hand out. And I know if I was in that position, I'd so much prefer to be given the help to help myself. So, as you can see, Traidcraft, the whole idea of it is that it brings aid, but it brings it through trade. And it is all about a fair price, yes, but it's also about all the other criteria that you can see in the bullet points below. And I'm not going to read them all out, but just identify one in particular, which is that when you buy fair trade, there's a social premium that's put into the price. And it's for projects in health, education, welfare. And the producers in the producer groups, they get to choose what project they want to support. So it might be they feel that they need a new water source, like a well, or it might be that they feel they need education for the children. So it's very much about empowering communities, as well as all the other things that go with fair trade, good working conditions, good price, and those kinds of things. Now, one of the producer groups we work with is called Get Paper Industries, and it's based in Nepal. And in April 2015, sadly, Nepal really hit the headlines, didn't it? There was a massive, massive earthquake. And obviously it affected people who work for Get Paper Industries as well as people just generally in the area. Now, one shocking fact that I found found was that 5,000 to 10,000 women and girls are trafficked out of Nepal to India each year, largely to the sex industry. And companies like Get Paper Industry, they provide an alternative. And they also run an education project out of the profits of the company to educate women and girls about the dangers of trafficking. And I think if everything works correctly, we are now going to see a little bit of a DVD clip about this particular project in Nepal. And it focuses on a group of people that Get Paper Industries work with called the Stonebreakers.
These are some of the poorest people in the world.
The stone breaking is the most hardest thing I've seen because they do it manually by hand and taking the stone and breaking this with the help of a small hammer. And you can see that there is no health and safety for them. It's a very, very hard job.
This is Sudeep, just 5 years old. His mum and dad are stone breakers.
So they collect the stones from the rivers and then turn it into the small, they cut the stone and sell it to the construction market.
Subhash is Sudeep's dad, enduring back-breaking work to provide for his family. This is the average income per day for this community. They are desperately poor.
75 rupees just doesn't buy you much at all, does it?
Yeah, even if you look at the rice, it's nearly 50 rupees per kilo, so you can imagine the income per day, how they will maintain it.
It's unbelievable looking here at how people are living. When we drove down to visit this community, I thought these were chicken sheds, and they're actually people's homes. These are some of the poorest people in Nepal, which is one of the poorest countries in the world. So it's actually quite overwhelming to see that in reality.
It's extremely sad to see this, especially the children. When we came here back in 2002, we saw the children also helping their parents to break the stones, and they're not going to school. So we thought we must help these children. At least they can, if they get some education, or they can move forward in society, and then they don't have to carry on the same profession.
So Get Paper Industry, our partner here in Nepal, set up a school, giving children like Sudeep hope of a future away from the river.
We started 2 hours in the morning for the children with a small waiting room. Then we found the children were very happy. They're interacting with each other, they're more confident, they're enjoying the time there. At the same time, they're learning. And so when they're back to their houses, I think they share these things with their parents, and they're very convinced their children to get education.
Subhash's dream is to be a tractor driver, the chance to earn more money. For Sudeep, an education may mean he can aspire to even more. Show you care, but...
And on the stall you'll see that I have some of the paper that's produced, and it's absolutely beautiful handcrafted paper that's produced at Get Paper Industry. And then from that project they've been able to set up a school which hopefully will change the future for children like Sudeep. So over the 30 years plus that I've been doing Traidcraft, I found that a lot of people, and particularly in churches, tell me that they think it is a really good idea. They support it, it's a great idea, and they like having Traidcraft available. What I don't always find is that that's translated into action and people actually committing to buying the Traidcraft. And I think these verses from James really challenge us. If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, be warmed and filled," without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. And that seems to me to be saying to us that we have to take our faith and translate it into action. And sometimes that might take effort on our part. However, I fully appreciate and understand that there are often reasons why people don't buy fair trade. I think that sometimes it's availability and sometimes it's cost. And I'll come back to both of those things later. Oh, I think I might have just gone on. Go back. Right, there seems to be quite a lot missing.
Oh.
There's be a page about the supermarket. So from James, it should go to a page about the supermarket and then a couple of other pages before we go. Never mind, I'll talk it through. Don't worry. Okay. There will be should be a picture of the supermarket up on the slide at the moment. And I guess supermarkets have encouraged us to just go, get all our shopping, throw it in one basket. And of course, the buying power of supermarkets means that it is cheaper. And I think that sometimes we need to ask ourselves the question, if I can go into a supermarket and buy a kilo of rice that's come from a fairly distant country for £1, somebody somewhere in that chain has got to be paying the cost of that if I'm not paying it at the till. And I think it's good now that there is fair trade in supermarkets, and Traidcraft was quite instrumental in trying to make sure that that happened. One of the issues is that Traidcraft has almost sport its own situation by doing that, and we're being encouraged as reps now to really encourage people to buy from Traidcraft. There are reasons for that. There's a wider range of fair trade available from Traidcraft than in the supermarket. We trade with much smaller groups than supermarket fair trade. And we also go what we call the extra mile, which I'll talk about in a moment. There is another reason, and that is that if we don't buy from Traidcraft, we might lose it. And I had a letter yesterday from the Chief Executive of Traidcraft, which says this: "We have improved many things, and we have made some important investments that were long overdue. We also have some wonderful products, and we've been winning new wholesale customers, proving that fair trade can be outstanding in both its ethics and its quality. Sadly, however, we live by the sales we make, and these have been falling. When you read this, we will be in the middle of a consultation process at Traidcraft plc that proposes reducing the number of staff. As you can imagine, this is a difficult time for staff who are disappointed, frustrated and angry. We are making every effort to minimise the losses, listening to each other and finding ways to be more efficient and more focused." So that's the staff in Gateshead, but of course imagine that that will have an impact also on the producers that we buy from in countries around the world. Oh, you can come up, thank you. So I said that Traidcraft is a bit more than just fair trade, a bit more than the supermarket, and it is all to do with the relationships that we have. We build relationships with these small producer groups. Traidcraft is a Christian-based company, and it's about seeing those producers, as James said, as our brothers and sisters, and about seeing what we can do to help them. We lend money in advance to get groups going. We give them training and development opportunities. We give them market advice, quality control advice. So although there is fair trade in the supermarket, they're not doing that input, and it would be so sad if Traidcraft went under and was not available to do that anymore. It's now lost the, never mind. There should be the one that came up before about Traidcraft Exchange. Anyway, attached to Traidcraft, the company is Traidcraft Exchange, which is the only international development charity in the UK to focus on trade. And we deliver projects across the developing world, helping people to build their skills, their knowledge and their confidence. And one example would be SPBIS, which is based in West Bengal in India. works with women's groups, rural groups, so that women can do the work in their own homes. And we gave them a start-up loan, and then since then we've given them the advice and the training and the support they need, so that now they're able to regularly sell to other companies, other fair trade companies as well. The other thing that Traidcraft Exchange does is to challenge unfair trade rules and to raise awareness of injustice. And we've been working really hard recently to make sure that in the fallout from Brexit, some of the countries around the world, the poorer countries around the world, don't become victims of that. Our newest campaign, and next time I'm here I'll be bringing cards along to do with this, is about the tea companies, and asking people to write to the big tea companies and asking them, where in Assam does your tea come from? And let me just read you something that was in a recent booklet that came through from Traidcraft. We asked an independent journalist and their team to visit Assam and talk to some of the workers on estates that we believe supply the UK. These women told us about how they struggle to make ends meet on their daily wage. Their houses are in a state of disrepair, and health clinics often have no staff and few medicines. So again, we need to think when we're buying our tea, where are we buying it from? And are the women who are picking the tea suffering in that way? Right. So I mentioned earlier two possible problems why people don't know fair trade. I think one thing is that people don't always realise just how much fair trade is available. You know, it's not just coffee, tea and sugar. And I wonder where else you can buy greeting cards for £1, like you can on my stall. I don't think other things are unreasonably priced. You know, the tea, a box of leaf tea at £1.80, a good quality roast coffee at £3.95. And high quality ginger stem biscuits, which I know some people like, at £1.90. They're not comparable with prices that you would find in the supermarket. And the new catalogue has just come out, and I've only got one copy because I need to send off for more, but you know, this is the amount of products that there are available from fair trade. So whether it's buying a birthday present, Christmas decorations, chocolate, whatever it is, you'll probably find it is in there. The other problem we mentioned was availability, and it isn't as easy as going into the supermarket. I completely appreciate that. It's easy for me, I've got the boxes sitting at home and I can just dive in when I need a box of sugar or whatever. But I think if we're going to show the commitment that James asks for to the poor, then maybe we need to think more about our shopping and plan it ahead. And you can order from me, and you'll be given a flyer on the way out with all my contact details, and then I will bring things the following month. The store will be here every third Sunday in the month. And also, if you prefer to do your own shopping, Traidcraft Shop has an online shop and you can order from there. The only downside of that is that you have to order in bulk if you're not going to pay postage, and that's the benefit of buying or ordering through me, that you won't have to pay postage. And obviously, I'm not saying don't buy fair trade in the supermarket. I don't stock wine, I don't stock bananas, all of which are fair trade items that you can get in the supermarket. But an appeal, really, is that we buy from Traidcraft, because if we don't, we may lose the company. I think it's as serious as that. So I'm just going to finish with a little clip. Noah's Ark in India is one of our longest producer groups that we've had a relationship with. And I think when you watch it, it just sums up just what fair trade can do for people in difficult situations.
India, a country so rich in culture and history, but an estimated 300 million people here live in poverty. 40% of the world's malnourished children are in India. That's why the work of companies like Noah's Ark is so crucial. It's a fair trade company, and it's worked with Traidcraft for years. Their artisans make products to the highest standard, and Noah's Ark has transformed their lives.
मुझे बहुत खुशी होती है, मैं अपने बच्चों की सारी ज़रूरतें पूरी कर देता हूँ और उन्हें खुश रखता हूँ और वो खुश होते हैं, मैं भी खुश होता हूँ।
हमारा तो काम कर सकते हैं, हमारे बीवी बच्चे अपना अच्छा एंजॉय कर रहे हैं, अपनी फैमिली को किसी चीज़ की कोई टेंशन नहीं।
As well as a fair wage, Noah's Ark's committed to maintaining decent working conditions for all its artisans. And in times of need, workers are also looked after. And this is so important, especially in a country where the poorest frequently struggle to survive. This was especially true for Sushil, who makes our beautiful metal reindeers. His wife suffered terrible complications in pregnancy. Unable to pay for medical attention, they were turned away from the hospital.
जब हम अस्पताल ले गए तो हमने भर्ती करा, तो पैसे ज़्यादा लग रहे थे। भर्ती कर लिया हमने, तो हम अपना जो भी सामान लेकर बेचने आ रहे थे, फिर ये हो गया था, फिर कहीं से पैसा मिला हमें, उसमें ऐसा लग रहा था क्या बच्चा नहीं बचे। जी।
Thankfully, his employer stepped in to help with those medical bills. Sushil, his wife Darab, and their 2 children are a happy, thriving family.
There are so many people associated with us, and that gives a kind of satisfaction that we are doing something for these artisans and their families.
Noah's Ark started this school for its artisans' children, and it now takes so many more children from the local area, all of whom are desperately poor. Without it, they probably wouldn't go to school at all.
It's just been absolutely amazing to come here and see the children so happy and being given a chance of a future, bright future. If it wasn't for Noah's Ark and this school that's here, they wouldn't be given a chance of a start in life and an education. Their English skills are amazing. I've just had a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old read to us just there, and I've got to say they were better than my children who are also 6 and 10, probably won't tell me that.
Moradabad, the city where Noah's Ark is based, is known as India's brass city. A large percentage of all handicrafts exported from India come from here. Creativity is everywhere to see. And at Noah's Ark, so is the care given to everyone associated with it. In a country where many people struggle to be treated fairly, this is incredibly important. This is your chance to support Traidcraft.
So I guess at the end of it, we're left with one real question. You know, do we put people before profit, or do we put profit before people? And we've all got to answer that question in our own way, in the best way that we can. But I think the thing we need to take away is that we do have a choice, but our choice will affect their choice. And for so many people in the world that we've seen through the course of this presentation, they don't have many choices. And perhaps if we make the right choices, we can actually open up the choices that are available to them in their lives and make a real difference. So I'll be outside of the store, so if anybody's got any questions afterwards they'd like to ask me, do feel free to come and to browse the products out there as well. Let's just finish with a